everyone. I'm really excited to be joined today by Leah James. Welcome, Leah.
Hi Tom,
Hi.
welcome. I'm
Hi.
Leah, I'm 18 and I'm in sixth form.
Thank you for joining us. Right, let's get started. So, Leah,
Yay.
it'd be really good to know, first of all, so obviously COVID-19, been a right pain. How has it affected your life in terms of school? I know we're both kind of similar ages, so what was that transition like from normal learning, or what we called normal learning, to an online learning environment?
So at the start, it was so exciting. Wow, we get, 3 weeks of school and it's all going to be online. So exciting. And then you get into it and it's a pain. It's new, it's foreign, no one knows what they're doing. The teachers, bless them, they don't know what they're doing. I'm born into technology, so I've got some idea. But once you get into it, it's not the best. It's quite stressful because I like my days organized and with structure, 7 a.m. wake up, 9 a.m. school. But now it's 8:30 wake up, lectures start at 8:45. I have breakfast during my first, lesson, and lunch is supposed to be at 12:30, but I have it at like 11, and I snack through during the day. It's a bad habit.
Yeah.
And it's not the best, to be honest. It's taken a huge toll on my mental health, and I know a lot of people's mental health, because it's not what we want to be doing. And as a child, as a student, you want to be surrounded by your friends. It's not always, you can't always rely on mum and dad. And it was so nice to have that freedom of the school environment, and seeing your teachers and having another support who aren't your family. And for the past year, I've had to only rely on my family. And it's quite hard, it's quite stressful, and they're key workers as well. So even though I don't see them, they're not having the best time at jobs, and I'm not having the best time in school. So it's quite hard.
I think the thing that really got me at the start was that transition from seeing people 5 days a week and being in that big conversation with so many people all the time, to not seeing them. And we didn't even get online learning at that point, and it was so strange going from doing so much in 5 days a week to doing absolutely nothing for 5 days a week. It was so different and so strange. And then I think obviously the thing was, last year for me, the big thing was trying, my exams and stuff, and obviously not knowing what I was going to get, and not getting what I expected, and having to wait out to be able to find out if I was able to get into uni or not. So it was very, very stressful and very annoying.
A couple of weeks ago, I felt like I don't know what I'm working towards anymore. You
Yeah.
feel like you're stuck in this loop. It's just this never-ending circle, and it's just going back and forth, and you have no idea what's going on. And they're telling you to push through, and you can, but it's just a struggle.
It's such a struggle. Yeah, it is. And I think because I didn't have learning for like 6 months between going out from doing my A-levels into uni, it was such like a culture shock going back and being like trying to do work again and trying to remember how to like read things, even like the simplest things. It was like, oh, this doesn't make sense. But I mean, now I'm settled and things are going great now. I mean, I'm not at uni at the moment, I'm at home, but everything's really good. Everything's just on track, I guess, which is, I'm very fortunate for that. But yeah, COVID-19, I don't think a lot of adults would understand how much this is affecting, especially people who have gone through this section of their school life, unless you're a teacher.
Like, it's my last year in school. I was in school for what, 14, 13 years, and it's over. It's so surreal. And with you especially, you're going into adulthood, and I can't even imagine to think what it was like for you. I went from year 12, I didn't have, school for about 4 months, and then straight into exams in year 13. I like you, I forgot how to read. I was trying to revise in the summer holidays, going, I don't know what 1 + 1 is. I don't know what anything is anymore. And like you said, with adults, I don't think they're ever going to understand. I think they try to understand, but obviously they live completely separate lives to us. And
Yeah.
even those, the key workers who are able to go to jobs, and there are people who can't go to jobs, they're going to struggle as well. But I ultimately think not as much as us, because I crave, human interaction, and I completely depend on that. And I can honestly say, in the past year, I've lost so many people, so many friends who just can't keep up with talking to people online anymore. And I talk to about one person a week now who aren't my family, and it's so normal.
I'm kind of the same, actually. It was very strange going from seeing your friends every day and stuff, and then it kind of like, especially now, it's kind of moved from, I don't really speak to that many people that much anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I mean, I speak to friends and whatever, but I don't really, I don't have those intersecondary interactions with people like teachers, people
yeah,
like just people you see in the corridors around school. Just, you don't have that anymore, and I have missed that. Like, I have
yeah,
missed not being able to have conversations with people that you don't necessarily like see and don't necessarily like
yeah.
plan on going to see, but you just sort
Hmm.
of run into them. um how is, like, I have to ask you, because I know we'll have very different like learning environments now.
Yeah.
How is, like, when you're actually in an online lesson, what is that like now? How different is that from a classroom?
Oh my gosh, it's so different. I do feel bad for the teachers, because we don't we're supposed to have our cameras on, but we don't have our cameras on, which is because it's too much, 8:30 in the morning, I've just gotten out of bed, you don't want to see me. And all they're doing, they're just talking, and it's
Yeah.
not really teaching. And it's a really big struggle, because they do this for you, and I have to try and take everything what they've said through a screen and put it in my head and try and improve from there. And it's so hard. And most of the time, like, I feel really bad for saying this, but I do just sit on my phone. Like, I really do. If the lesson is boring, I will happily sit on my phone for the whole entirety, and I'll be like, oh yeah, it's fine. I'll catch up later. I'll catch up
Yeah.
later. And I keep it going for about a good 3 weeks, until it gets to a stage where I'm like, okay, Leah, like, you have to start catching up now. And so, like that, it's really difficult, because I can't pay attention. I honestly cannot pay attention. Like, my teachers are talking to me, and I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. Are we done now?
Yeah.
Are we done now? Is it lunch yet?
I
Can we
would.
go now? Is it 3? Can we please go?
I'm in a very different, like, I think, because I don't know about you, but like my A-level classes were very small in comparison to like GCSE classes, for example. Like, I remember I had a geography class with 5 people in at a time,
Yeah.
and it's like, you know, I went from that, and very no, I d- it's a very different learning environment now, because I'm now in classes with like 70 odd people, and I'm just sort of one in 70. And
Yeah.
like, no, obviously no one puts cameras on, because that would break everyone's internet.
Yeah.
No, we just have to like listen to someone sort of talk at us. And I mean, I've now had to get really used to that, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to pass. But it's
Same.
it's like I've got really used to like listening to some. I guess that would be what it's like in a real environment, but you just don't have the comfort of sort of, if you did have like a question or something,
Yeah.
being able to talk to them on a more personal one-to-one level.
Hmm.
I mean, what is really good about online lectures is that we have a chat box, so if you do just want to throw something out there, you can just put it
Just
in
type
there
it
and they'll
in.
answer. Yeah.
See,
So
I'm scared to even do that. I hate like typing my question in the chat box, because in a classroom you can see that everyone else is feeling the same. Like,
yeah.
if no one understands the work, you can tell by people's reactions and their body language. Oh, they don't understand it. So if I ask the question, it'll be good for all of us. Whereas if I'm sitting behind a screen, I don't know. Like, they might find the work really easy, and it's going to be me, and it's
Yeah.
so awkward to
I
turn on my mic and go, Miss, I don't understand this bit. Can you repeat that for me? I really don't enjoy it.
I
But
was gonna
yeah,
sorry, I was gonna say, like, I think that that the kind of opposite happens now, and that people try and like ask really confusing questions that don't help, and I'm sat there, I'm like, I barely understand what's going on, but I'm soldering through, but you're asking a question about something that they're not even talking about now. Why would you do that to me?
No, but I think it's really important. I try to like make good conversation with my teachers because they're going through the same thing, and I don't even know like how much they're struggling.
Yeah.
So I really like try and make really good conversation, like asking if they're okay, because you know we are all in the same boat, and as long as we try and help each other, we'll get through it. Hopefully.
Yeah, I know it's we're getting there, and I think as well on the point about the teachers, I think they're struggling as well because they've adapted to an environment where they're used to having a whiteboard and having, you know, whatever else they have, a projector, or, you know, having the luxury of having students right in front of them, and if, you know, being able to kind of explain things very easily, but they've had to kind of alter their entire profession to be able to explain in a different way. But I mean, it's definitely a challenge, and it's definitely something that we're going to have to overcome. Well, we'll be able to overcome soon. And I think, you know, obviously our lives have drastically changed throughout the pandemic, but of course, you know, your life has changed quite drastically because you've been able to volunteer. So how did that come about, and how did you, what kind of inspired you to go ahead and do that?
So my head of year, you know, like everyone else in my like the sixth form department, they send emails all the time. You know, there's this opportunity, there's this opportunity. So I think it was late March, early April, when they sent an email and they were like, the NHS is looking for volunteers, you know, 16 and above, and they want to have people, you know, to try and come work in the hospitals because they're getting understaffed and stuff. And so, you know, I was like, okay, I'll sign up. It looks cool, it looks interesting. And so I did, and I got it like a month later. And then the woman called me, lovely woman. I'm not going to say her name, but she's lovely. She called me and she was like, so you signed up for this? Hi, do you want to come in for a training day? And I was like, oh, do you want me to come in, who hasn't left the house for 2 months, meet new people and train to go work in a hospital? Okay. So, you know, I put on my face mask, I kept safe, I walked into the hospital, and so we had a training day where they talked through some stuff, some safety precautions, all of that. And I love helping people. I'm a really big people person, and I think it's so important to try and go out there and do what you can for the community. And so that's what I did. By April, late April, early May, I was stationed into my local hospital. I started working in a COVID ward between doctors, between other nurses, healthcare assistant, you know, physiotherapists, everyone. And I obviously worked with adults because I was 17 at that time. So I don't think they would let me near children. Not that there's anything wrong with me going near children, but obviously. And so it really gave me something to do during lockdown, especially. You know, I had lessons every day, and now I could go to a hospital, I could do my part, and I didn't feel like I was just sitting at home doing the same cycle every day. So I used to get there for 8. I used to walk there because it's not that far from me. So I used to leave the house at like 7:30, put some music, you know, get ready, and then I used to help out with breakfast. I used to feed the patients, which is very, very awkward. You don't. So we did a training. You know, at our training, we did this exercise where someone feeds you and you feed them, and being fed, it's awful. Like I don't understand why we ever thought let's go feed people physically, because it's so awkward. Like the man who was feeding me, it was jelly, and it was horrible jelly. It was like vegan jelly. Or what even is vegan jelly?
Not
don't
nice, I
know.
assume.
Exactly. And so he was like, okay, open your mouth, and then stuck a spoon full of jelly in my mouth. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I fed the other man. It was very weird to see someone else's mouth that close to your face. Not what I want to be doing. Also, he was like a 60-year-old man, very nice, but not the best person to be feeding. And so I think it really showed how awkward it is for not just the patient, but for you as well to be feeding. So I had to feed some patients porridge, Weetabix, baked beans and toast, the whole lot. And it was just like I changed a lot of beds. I My mum was very happy because now I can do my own sheets by myself. And she's like, well, you learnt that now, go do your own.
Go do
So
your
she was
own.
very happy. And it was just so nice to talk to patients. Honestly, that was a highlight
Yeah.
because even though we could go out for like a daily walk, they can't, they're completely in their beds. They don't see anyone apart from the doctors, the nurses, the healthcare assistants, and they have windows. And so the hospital is opposite a park. And I know, they always see people going outside and walking, and they love young children,
Yeah.
like grandparents, they love young people. And I love elderly people as well. Like I love hearing their stories. So every day I had a bay to myself. And so it consisted of like 4 beds. And every day I used to sit in the bay, and between lunch and breakfast, if I didn't have any jobs to do, I'd go sit there and I'd go talk to them. And because they honestly, the doctors and nurses don't have enough time for them. And they're so sick of talking to each other for the past 2 months. It was so nice and lovely to see a new face and talk to them about anything, my school, my hobbies, their hobbies, what they used to do. This one lovely man, he used to be a cricketer, and he used to travel around like the West Indies and South Africa. And that's just so amazing because I don't know anyone, no one my age goes to the West Indies and plays cricket, but back
Yeah.
then you could. And it was so enlightening, and it was just great. I loved every minute of it. And so I did that up until September, and then I stopped so I could focus on school. And they called me a couple of weeks ago at the start of January, but I was like, I'm sorry, I've got school, I can't. Because I used to do it during Monday to Friday, like literally during the day. And I had no idea how exams were going to play out then. So, but yeah, I
Yeah.
really enjoy it.
And obviously that's something you could potentially go back to if they're still allowing people
Yeah.
in. If, for example, they do say absolutely no exams, you can stop schooling, you could just go straight back to that. I bet that was really good, as like a replacement for what the social life of
Yeah.
school, because I think, yeah, as we've kind of already mentioned before, like that was something that we both quite missed. So
Mm-hmm.
what was it like, kind of, what was like the balance like between having that and doing schoolwork, or was there no balance? Did you just focus on that? If there was a balance at all, I don't
My
know.
I'm so glad that my teachers were like so supportive, and
Yeah.
the school department, they were so supportive as well. And they were like, it's fine, do it, you're playing your part for the community and it's all fine. So I used to go Monday to Friday, for like a couple of hours, 4 to 5 hours, and I used to just catch up on the weekends.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a struggle, I can't lie, it was a struggle. But like I said, my teacher was so supportive, and I really enjoyed it. So honestly, I did come home very tired
Oh
though,
yeah, I bet.
because I was just on my feet for like 5 hours. And obviously I didn't eat there because it's just not a nice place to eat. And so I used to come home starving, going, what's for lunch? I'm starving. But no, at, in the afternoons, if I did have lessons, I would try and join, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't have like more to catch up on. But honestly, I just spent the weekend doing work. It sounds quite sad, but it's what I had to do, and I really enjoyed it. And I honestly wouldn't change anything about it because
Yeah.
it's just so good.
That's
Yeah.
yeah. So So following on from the thing that we had before about kind of school and stuff, so this is obviously something you can put on your UCAS personal statement. Like how that's something that I have obviously had to go through and do, making that statement. That's hard enough, not without a pandemic. How hard was making that UCAS personal statement this year? I can imagine.
I'm so lucky that I kind of planned out my life 5 years ago, which is so sad. It's so sad. So I always knew I want to go into like a caring sector or like a healthcare sector. And so I joined loads of, like little clubs. I'm part of like St. John's Ambulance. I did a week at a bigger hospital in year 11. You know how, some people go to schools, some people go work at their dad's shop or something. I decided to go to a hospital. And so this really influenced this, those 4 months of volunteering really influenced that I want to be a nurse. And so I've currently applied to do adult nursing, and I'm so excited because I actually really enjoyed writing my personal statement, because even though it was so stressful and I was so over word count, 47 lines is not enough.
Not enough. I mean, I can understand why they do it, but
I do get it, but it's not enough.
It's not enough. And I think as well, I know some people had that were doing it had like just not enough to put in it, or were struggling to find the words. And I was sat there thinking, how am I going to cut this down? Because I've obviously written it, and then I was just sat there. I was like, what? I was like, taking out ands and stuff and trying to like replace words and make them.
I thought it was 4,000 words and not 4,000 characters.
Oh,
my first draft was 4,000 words, and so having to cut down 4,000 words to 47 lines is not a good thing. So honestly, what I did, I deleted the whole thing, and I was like, I'm just going to start completely over. I'm just going to start it all over again. And I started it in August, and I only finished it in November. So it's a very difficult process, which I'm still going through. I only firmed an insurance today.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
congratulations.
I know. And so I'm still going through it. I don't know when it's going to end. It'll end in September.
It'll just end, when you get to where you want to go, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can't imagine going through that process without sitting in a room with like 3 teachers and all of them just asking how you're doing. Do you need help? Like kind of coming at you with all directions, trying to help you with it, because I mean, it's like, obviously that is like the key to university, is that document, and it's so hard to stand out and stuff on it, and if you don't have things, then it is a pain. But
I did feel really bad for people who had nothing, and like I honestly did. But I was like I feel really bad for you, but there's like things I wish I knew, but there's so many online courses that you can do. Just stick that in. Just stick it in there.
Just put things in. Literally, it's anything and everything really you can put in there, and it's like even things that you've read. I mean, I put stuff in that I've read. I put things that just relate to things that you want to do, and I know that's obviously, I think the thing that struggled some of my friends was like, I don't want to sound cheesy, I don't want to sound like you. But you kind of just gotta be arrogant. You just gotta do it.
No, when I was writing, I was like, it looks like I've got a really big ego, but I promise you, I'm actually a really nice person. I'm not as arrogant as this seems. I'm saying I'm amazing, I'm great at everything. Give me a chicken, I'll give it. I don't know what I'm saying, but honestly, I can do anything. I can crack an egg with one hand. I'm amazing. Just stick whatever you've got.
Put everything into it.
Honestly,
definitely.
thesaurus.com was my best friend.
It's a very good website.
It's a lovely website, and I've used and too many times. In addition, moreover, beautiful.
It just flows.
So
we're just bearing in mind, like the question for this episode is obviously, how has COVID-19 changed our world forever? And obviously the pandemic has changed many people's perspectives on the world, and like people's priorities have most certainly changed. Like, what things have you learned from the pandemic, and what are some of the things that you've done differently that you ever want to continue doing in the future, or things that you cannot wait to stop doing?
So I was a person who was very unsure about myself, and I had no idea who I who I really was. It sounds so cheesy, but like it's true.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what I was gonna do, how it was all gonna work out. And I'm a very stressful person. I get myself into stressful situations like this. Honestly, give me anything to do and I will make it stressful. Tell me to make a sandwich and I will make it into a stressful situation. And I'm a very big worrier. So
Yeah.
as everything was so uncertain back then, and it 100% still is, I worry a lot. And so I really had to teach myself self-love. I really had to be like, you need to take a break, you need to sit down and just look at yourself and just be content with who you are. There's no point, going to like go and read a book every single day. There's no point doing such weird and just unrealistic aspirations over lockdown. I know there's so many people who was like, I'm gonna bake every day, I'm gonna garden, I'm gonna do this. And I was like, I don't want to be like that. I just want to do what I can for the community. And just the world coming to a stop made me stop and have a look and think, what can I be doing that I'll be content and happy with? And it's allows me to set like a good future, even though the future is so uncertain. It's I've been able to set goals, which are aspirational goals, but I don't know how it's going to work out. And even though there was no church and masses were live, it doesn't feel the same when you're watching mass on the TV, eating breakfast, where also you watch films. It just honestly didn't feel the same at all. But it just shows that sometimes you have to take things into your control and just be content with yourself. It honestly, I gained a lot of confidence somehow. I don't know how, but I am so confident now. I'm a really big person,
Yeah.
and it's just, I don't know, it's changed me for the better, that I can say. It really has. And I think socially, as Gen Z, I think we've really took it upon ourselves and been like, we're gonna change this. We're gonna, Black Lives Matter, the elections, everything. We've really taken it upon ourselves and we've taken the responsibility. And I think we've proved all the Karens wrong, if I'm honest. All those Karens who are like, they can't do anything, they just sit on their phones all day. Well, we sat on our phones all day and we've changed so
We've
much
changed
things for
so
the
many
good.
things. Yeah. I think
And
yeah, it's all about sort of getting on the same page with everyone and kind of causing a noise that can create so
yeah,
much noise that it does create a change. And it's this pandemic, if it's proved anything, it's proved that not only do we have great scientists that are able to solve a vaccine, we also have
oh my
great
God,
young
yeah.
people that are able to petition for a cause and cause a change, if anything, that this has proved.
And our voices are heard. You put your voice out and they will be heard. And I think the past year has truly shown those who are like so competent and so capable that we can actually do this.
Yeah.
It's hard, it's a struggle. Life's a roller coaster. That's so cheesy, but it is. And it's really shown. Put out some noise, you get what you want. It's just how
Yeah.
it works.
So unfortunately, that is all we have time for in this episode. I would love to keep going and chatting with you, Leah, but
It's all right.
unfortunately, we have run out of time. Thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you,
It has
Tom.
been so much fun. It has been so inspiring, but also just a great conversation to have and to talk about the current issues that we're having, and where can people find you if they want to get in contact with you, if they want to sort of tweet you, or I don't know, anything?
I'm on Facebook and Instagram as Leah James. You can just find me, DM me, ask your questions, do anything.
Yeah, if you want to get in touch with Leah, that's how you find her. You can also follow me on Twitter. I'm at TomAllan92. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
I have really enjoyed making this episode.
I've loved it.
I have loved it. A big thank you, Leah, because you've made this fantastic. Hopefully we've managed to inspire people to get out, start some action, and make some noise. Thank you very much for listening. See you next time. Bye.